going to tell you an advice that I tell a lot of people to do, but at the same time, sometimes I don't like to people to do it. Sometimes I don't advise people to do this because it can work on you, but in a lot of people, it's not going to work just because it's not their purpose and they don't know how to execute it. And the advice that I'm going to tell you, you might not like it, and at the same time, you might like it. You might find the purpose, you might understand it the way I'm going to explain it to you because it worked for me. And it might work for you, but for a lot of people, it might not work. And this is the why. It's going to be controversial, and I'm going to explain it to you in just a second. My name is Aid Valdez, and today I have an advice that I did from 2023, and this is something that you execute in a different way as people, and you're gonna understand the why it might work on you as well, and the why you should try it, and if you think you can make it happen. So the advice is basically is this. So a lot of people get into debt, and a lot of people do it in a way where they feel that if they get that thing, if they get, let's say for example, if they get that house that is a lot of money, if they get with debt, if they get that car, if they get those computers, if they get those expensive stuff, they believe that those things will push them, right? And it might sound like crazy, but at the same time, if you think about it, if you buy something that is going to make you find more options, find more sources of income, if you think about it, it's true. If you decide to buy something that is really expensive and that you believe that that thing will help you out with your business, or it will help you out to gain respect, and from there you can make more money. But then you say, well, I don't have the money for it, so I will have to get into debt. But then if I get into that debt, I might be able to actually push myself to the point where I'm able to pay for that even more. So the truth is, it might work, it might not work, you might be able to pay for it, you might lose your job, a recession can come, an emergency can come, you can lose a leg, you can have an accident, and you can have a kid, you can have your wife, that something happened and now you have to spend a lot of money, surgery, a lot of factors that can happen. But the truth is, the truth behind it is that actually it can work. It can actually work on you. If you decide to say, well, I can buy this tractor. Let's say it's $1 million tractor. It doesn't work. I don't know the price of some tractor. But you say this $1 million tractor can make me $200,000, $300,000 a year. Let's say it like that. Or it can make me more than that. And you say, well, I don't have the $1 million, but I can get into a loan. And you decide to get that. And then you decide that you will find a way to pay that tractor because you believe that over time it will make money for you. So the truth is, yes, it's a lot of money, and yes, you cannot afford it. So you cannot afford it. But the truth is, sometimes you can't afford it, but that thing will make you actually afford it. So what happened to me, this advice, that is why I'm talking about this. And what happened was, when I bought my car in 2023, I bought my car for $15,000 in cash. Oh, sorry, it was actually in 2024. It was last year. And the truth is, I bought my car and I didn't have any more money when I bought it. So I was literally on zero, and I have payments to make. Of course, I have credit cards and I was able to make it happen. But then my car broke down, and then I had to pay for rent. I had to pay for rent, groceries, expenses, classes, and every single thing. So of course, you get to the point where you say, how am I going to be able to make it? And then when you realize that you have a lot of payments, you say to yourself, I have to push myself harder. So you go to the office and you work more than the others. You go and outwork everybody. You go and find a way. Like the example I said, if you go to an island and you have to find food, and you are trying to survive, and you are starving, you have kids, and you have to figure out a way to give them food, you will make it happen. It doesn't matter if it's hard. It doesn't matter if you're starving. It doesn't matter if you have a bill that you have to pay. In 28 days, you have to pay a bill, really, really expensive, that you don't have the money for it. But just having that thing, that you believe in it in the future, it will push yourself to actually go ahead and find the option to make it happen. So what happened to me was I bought the car in 2024, $15,000 in cash, and I didn't have the money for it, but I just started working. So I started working gardening. So I had my job, and on top of that, I had another job. It was a side hustle. It was gardening, working for a guy that I was working in his house. And one of the things that actually helped me was there was a hurricane, and I had to help him in his house. Of course, he gave me a tip, he gave me this, but I worked for like a month in his house. And then I was trying to find more houses to work on those houses. I was like gardening. And then I had my job. I was cleaning dishes, I was doing this, I was doing whatever it finds. I was doing it. And then there was a guy that had this company that moves people, and that there was weddings, there was events, and we were setting up and we were closing and doing this, and I was just working all the time, and that was the only way for me to be able to make it happen. So if I would be afraid of, oh, I might not afford that, I might not be able to buy that car. If I would just say, yeah, I can't afford it, of course you're not gonna be able to afford it because you were telling yourself. It's like if you go to the gym and you try to do a weight and you say, the first thing you say is, I might not be able to make it. You're giving yourself that option of it might not work. So you're given two options. But when you change that to, I'm going to do that weight, I'm going to do that PR, it might not work. It might fail, but that's a different mindset. So you are actually prepared to actually lift that. It might fail, but it's different than saying giving yourself two options. When you give the brain two options, is easier. It tends to, most likely, you will fail. And the reason is because you, not because you're weak, not because you can't make more money, it's because yourself, you are telling you that you can't do it because you're giving yourself two options instead of saying, I'm going to make this happen. So what happened to me, I found a way. I did find a way to be able to pay for the car. I did find a way to be able to pay for my expenses, for my classes, for all the things that I did. Every single thing, God helped me to do that. God helped me with the opportunities, and I sacrificed myself to be able to push myself to the point where I had to work every single day. I did work about 80 and even 90 hours weeks. Yes, I did that with 19 years old. I was working 80, 90 hours a week. And yes, I might actually, in my future, that might charge me in the future, let's say it like that. It will cost me probably some years. In my heart, it was a lot of hours. It was a lot of fatigue. I didn't sleep that much. But I think it was worth it, and it helped me to understand the value of what cost me to buy my car, what cost me to be able to do that. Today I can have all this, I can have my car, the apartment, and all the things that I have now, but the value that I see it when I see it is different than someone that just got it or their parents got it, because I worked really hard for it. And when you understand that if you put yourself into that situation where you have to make it or you're not going to survive, that's when you actually push yourself. So for example, I bought a lot of stuff and I have invested a lot of money, and if I fail, I will be happy. And the reason why I will be happy is because I'm trying to make it, and I'm believing in what I'm doing, and I'm not giving myself two options. When you don't tell yourself that there's not another option, it doesn't mean that you're going to succeed. Hours doesn't mean that you're going to succeed. That passion and desire doesn't mean that you're going to succeed. But even if you fail, when you are working really hard and you are believing in yourself, even if you fail, you're learning and you're improving and you can adjust. So that's one of the things that you need. You need to improve, you need to adjust, and you need to fail to be able to uh, be happy, or actually enjoy the things that you have worked for, to be able to see the sacrifice that you have done in the past years or weeks or whatever the time you have worked. So if you're in that place where you are trying to get something, one of the things you can do to be able to afford something is try to make it happen. So you will see how you change when you have something to do. If you have to make a payment, if you have to figure out when you have that place, when you are in that place where you have to figure it out, you have to actually make this happen, or this is going to happen, you're going to suffer consequences. That's when your brain and yourself, you start saying, I have to make this happen. And how I'm going to be able to make this happen? Well, I'm going to find a way. So of course you're not going to have the answer right away, but you will find the answer. I'm telling you, if you believe in yourself and you're working towards a lot of things, you will find the answer. It will come to you. God will help you to find the answer. And you will have to sacrifice a lot to be able to work towards that. It will be able to pay the things that you have to pay. But I'm telling you, I don't advise you to do those things. I don't advise you to get in debt for getting a lot of things, stupid things that you're not gonna actually even use or get the potential for. Use the potential that those things has. But to be honest, if you want to get that car, if you want to get that BMW, if you want to get that house, if you want to get that gift for your mom or wherever, and then you're gonna have to make payments or whatever is going to happen to you, it's going to push yourself to be better, to improve, to work more. And you're gonna see that you're gonna be able to make it because it worked for me. I was in debt and I was very, very in debt. And you get to that point where you say, well, now what I'm going to do, how I'm going to be able to make it. You ask yourself those questions because you're a human. And even though it might work, it might fail too. So you say to yourself, am I going to be able to make it happen? Am I going to be able to make it happen? Or am I going to fail? But the thing is, you're trying. So that's all that matters. Just you trying to be able to make it happen. So I advise you that if you are trying to go ahead and do it, you will see that you change. The way you change, the way your brain changes, it's amazing. How you're gonna work better. You're gonna work actually more. You're gonna find for more work. In your days off, you're gonna try to do this side hustle. Try to do this. In the way you change, let's say for example you invested in, let's say you have a business and you invested in a lot of electronics or whatever you need it for, and then you realize that you're in debt, you will figure out how to find those clients. If you truly want it, you will figure out a way to get those clients so you can make these payments happen. So I hope you guys like that video. I hope you comment and share and you understand what I was saying. And I do advise you, I do believe that have a lot of potential, but I do at the same time believe that you might fail. You might actually not understand how to do it the way I did it, but I believe you can do it that way. So I'll see you guys in the next video.